these opening 15 seconds are usually why I tell you to tune in and why this is going to be of value to you. But all I can tell you is you're going to get really honest opinions because we have no idea what are in either of these glasses. We do it this way so we eliminate the bias and you can see what's really true about what's in the glass.
Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Thank you for joining us today. We are just a couple sipping whiskey, normal people. Erin, the social sipper amongst the two of us, me, the whiskey nerd. And this matchup is drawn from our blind sample pool of a bunch of stuff that's been paired together for one reason or another. It could be available versus allocated, expensive versus inexpensive, or two comparable products that we're trying to see which one is the better buy. But like I said, we do it this way so that we can eliminate all the hype and bias behind any labels and give you the most honest opinion as possible. If you're into that sort of thing, think about subscribing to the channel. Let's get glass one on the nose. Ooh, sweet right off the bat.
It does smell really sweet.
Sweet sweetness.
Yeah, kinda. Sweet sweetness. Maybe some caramel.
Yeah, I had the Dr. Pepper, the Diet Dr. Pepper, the sweet one, a little sweet.
No.
You don't remember those commercials?
No, I just remember the Diet Dr. Pepper tastes more like regular Dr. Pepper.
Oh, okay.
Those commercials.
Well, this smells like a little sweet. Yeah, I wish I could say more about what I'm getting, but it smells like pretty classic bourbon. You know, your caramel, your vanilla, your oak
Pretty
notes.
sweet.
There's kind of this green apple, but it's not tart. You know, the flavor under the tartness of a green apple.
Okay.
I'm getting a little bit of that, but not much else on the nose. You?
Okay. Yeah, that's same.
Cheers.
This tastes like a cherry popsicle.
It's got that. It's got that green apple without the tartness. It's got quite the mouthfeel on it. And that could be just because it's the first sip, but
yeah, let's do a second sip.
That came through really oily, really buttery, really rich.
I would say it is kind of buttery. Like it's the finish isn't super long, but the consistency of the liquid is pretty rich.
Yeah. Now we do warm our palates up before these, and this is something we always recommend when you're tasting blind. You don't know what you're walking into. So we like to have something that's very familiar to us to make sure it tastes the way it's supposed to taste and hits our palate the way it's supposed to hit our palate so that we're coming into this with some level of quality control. And that pour today was Four Roses Small Batch Select. This tastes quite a bit proofier and quite a bit better than that.
It does taste proofier and does taste better.
Yeah. This seems like several steps ahead of that. So let's get another sip.
Yeah, I will say it's pretty much the same. It tastes like a red popsicle to me. Very alcohol forward though. A boozy red popsicle.
Really?
And I'm like the viscosity. I'm just looking at this glass. It's thick.
Man, I'm getting the finish. That I'm with you on the first sip was not very present.
Yeah.
But on this second sip, boy, oh boy, this thing is gripping my throat like I've said something bad about its mama and it's got me like this.
I will say the second sip is lingering a little bit longer than that first sip. So I think it builds upon itself.
By the way, I don't make a habit of talking bad about people's mothers, just for the record. But yeah, no, I got cherry, grape, green apple with no tartness, red apple, buttery, oily, rich, viscous.
Yeah.
That's a crazy pour. You said alcohol forward, it seems like it's got some proof on it, but that's all balanced out to me.
It's like a boozy red popsicle to me.
And the oak on it is really, really good too. I like that glass a lot.
It's not super drying, which I appreciate. Like I can tell that it's obviously been in a barrel of oak, but sometimes that can go really drying on the palate and it doesn't do that.
Yeah. Really nice on glass one. Can't wait to see what glass two has in store if that's how good we're starting out.
So this one smells even more sweet. This one leans maybe a little bit more on the butterscotch sweetness. The first one was a little more caramel and it had like more alcohol presence. This one doesn't have as much alcohol presence on the nose to me and has a little more of like a butterscotchy sweetness.
Okay, when you say butterscotch, I think the way my nose reads that is a light brown sugary note. Not quite butterscotch.
No, I'm thinking like the butterscotch chips that you like to put in cookies.
No, I know what you mean, but I'm saying every time you say butterscotch, I almost never get it. But on this, I'm getting light brown sugar and I'm getting kind of an effervescence, almost like the sweetness I would smell in something like a Sprite or something. Like it's got a little bit of like light brown sugar, citrus sweetness, like sugary citrus sweetness.
Okay.
It smells really good as well.
Well, isn't butterscotch caramelized brown sugar?
Right, but it's distinctly different.
It is, but I'm saying that could be why you get that and I get butterscotch. Like they're in the same family.
Could be. Let's get this on the palate and see.
Way more earthy on the palate than I expected.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a second sip, though, to confirm, but I definitely went into it thinking it would taste similar to glass 1, and it doesn't. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just need to realign my expectations and take another sip, I think.
Well, for me, I mean, that came through with punch and power as well. Interestingly enough, a second sip's going to be very telling for me as well, because the first sip, or the 2 sips on the first glass, I was getting that cherry, grape, green apple without the tartness thing. I'm getting all those same notes in this as well, but it's underneath a blanket of like oakiness
Earthy.
and a little bit of like a nuttiness, like an almondy type of nuttiness in there.
I'm getting like a dirt. No,
Yeah, I can see
when I
that
say
too.
earthy, I kind of mean dirt.
I mean, I almost kind of think of glass 2 as like if you were in a rick house full of barrels, but an old one that had dirt floors. So you're kind of smelling the angel share and also the old dirt floors.
Yeah.
It's kind of got that going on. Another sip.
Yeah, same thing.
Wow. Yeah, that is very earthy.
It is.
And then the sweetness comes in after.
I really like that, but it's so different from glass 1. I don't know if they're even comparable.
Man, yeah.
They're different flavors.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing though, but like I'm getting a lot of the same flavors in both glasses.
Yeah, I think one of them shines like with the sweetness in a very balanced way. One of them shines with an earthiness in a very balanced way.
Yeah.
And I think to me, those are 2 different spectrums. For me,
Yeah.
earthy and sweet are 2 different ends of a spectrum.
Yeah.
Therefore, I wouldn't drink this glass when I wanted this glass, and I wouldn't drink this glass when I wanted this glass. They're not the same.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So they are quite different in that way, even if you are dealing with common flavor notes. So at that point, you're almost picking on what type of experience and whether you prefer something that's a little more sweet. And they also have a little bit of a difference in impact too. The first glass is like I said something bad about its mama and it just grabbed me by the throat and like started squeezing. The second glass is more like you're hanging out with a friend and they put you in a little bit of a headlock and you're like, oh man, whatever. And then, then they start squeezing a little tighter. Like it's got a late squeeze.
I will say the finish lasts longer on the second glass for me. I'm still feeling it, whereas it was a very present finish on glass 1. A flash
of heat on glass 1.
But it wasn't as lingering.
Yeah. Whereas glass 2 really sticks around with like not as flash of heat presence, but just like a
long sustained presence.
Yeah. These pours are both kind of crazy. We're going to need to take some time, clear our palates with some water, start with the second glass, go back to the first. That's usually very revealing, and we will come back to you in just a second and reveal all of our findings to you. So stay tuned. A lot of things can change during this part of the video. All right, I think I got this figured out. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
All right. I'm going to be talking through the finish of both of these because they both just go on forever and ever. But I'm going to step aside and let you say what you need to say. What do you think about these 2 after spending time with them? Which do you prefer? What are your ratings?
Okay, so I liked them both. I'm giving them both a thumbs up.
Okay.
However, if I had to pick another pour to drink, it would be glass 1. I feel like while I do appreciate what glass 2 has to bring, glass 1 is a little bit more balanced in all the things. And while it is sweet, and I don't tend to prefer sweetness, it's a balanced sweetness that I feel like I could drink more of. Like for me, if it's too sweet, I can only drink a couple sips and I'm out. This one, I feel like I could drink more than a couple sips. So that's a balanced sweetness to me. So my preference is glass 1, but I do really enjoy them both. I think they have different things to offer. And so I'm giving them each a thumbs up.
Okay, cool. To me, I think they feel like 2 sides of the same coin.
Okay.
There are commonalities between the 2, but then there's also some very vast differences between the 2 as well. You know, when we came to glass 2, I said I was kind of getting like a candied citrus note. When I went back to glass 2 after clearing my mouth with some water and started with it, it was just like rickhouse funk, oak, like barrel char, and then underneath that, like grape Kool-Aid. And then the first glass, going back to it after starting with glass 2, that one was way bright. Glass 1 turned into all this candied citrus type of vibes, like a kind of like almost like a lemon head without the sourness.
Oh, weird.
You know, I love that lemon. I love that candied lemon flavor. So glass 1, I really liked that about it. It also had that cherry grape type thing going on. Glass 1 is, I mean, it's the Flash. As a superhero, it is the Flash, and it's a flash of heat to go along with all the flavor concentration that it brings. It's big time flavor. Glass 2 also has big time flavor, but it's more like the Dark Knight. Like it's seen some things. It's kind of maybe it's a little It's dark.
I see that.
For me, it really is, to your point, it's the best point that's made in this entire video, and whatever happens after this, we'll see. I would not drink these two. Like, I would never reach for one of these or the other depending on my mood. Like, if I was in the mood for what glass 1 offers, I would never reach for glass 2. And if I was in the mood for what glass 2 offers, I would never reach for glass 1. They're very different in experience.
Yeah.
And I think for me today, I'm kind of leaning towards glass 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
We did a little switcheroo.
And it could be because we're recording kind of early today, but that flash of heat on glass 1 feels like it's a little extra today.
I can see that. Yeah.
Glass 2, while it does kind of have that earthiness that glass 1 doesn't have, and I do tend to lean more sweet, I also tend to lean more dark like glass 2, and I really like it. And glass 2 feels really interesting to me.
Yeah. They both are, honestly. I am not mad at either one of these, and I like them both. But I bet one's going to be super expensive or hard to find.
Who knows? To me, they're both great. 2 thumbs up on both of them.
Dang.
They feel like they're doing they're doing special whiskey things.
Special whiskey.
They're doing special whiskey things. The both of them.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying both of them. I'm 2 thumbs up on both.
Okay.
We're gonna find out price, weigh that against what we've just tasted in both of these glasses, and see if that changes our opinion on anything.
I cannot see.
And then we'll find out what we're drinking.
Okay.
So in our pool, glass number 1 is number 78. What is our price?
Glass number 1 is $78. $100.
Okay. I'm staying 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm saying thumbs up. I'm not surprised by that.
If I spent $100 on that, I would be so happy to get that bottle.
I feel like that's for what I tasted. Now, granted, I don't want to spend that personally, but I don't feel like I would feel ripped off. Like that tastes like $100 whiskey to me.
Glass number 2.
That's $150, which
staying 2 thumbs up.
Still more than I want to spend. However, I do feel like it tastes every bit of it. Like,
yeah,
there is a funk to it. Now that you said funk, I'm getting like a sour funk, like a weeder funk, but
I'm not getting
like in a good way. Yeah, I'm staying thumbs up. I do feel, you guys have seen me, if you watched our channel from the beginning, I'm loosening up the purse strings a little bit with what I feel like I would be willing to pay for whiskey. I think having experienced more whiskey and also with just prices in general going up on everything, I've had to expand my range of what I'm willing to pay. And while I don't want to spend $150 on a bottle of whiskey, I personally wouldn't spend $150 on a bottle of whiskey. I would let this guy spend $150 on a bottle of whiskey for us.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
finally broke her down. It only took 3 years of doing a whiskey channel to break her down.
Probably 3.5.
We need that to find out what we're drinking.
Oh yeah, we do. I'm sorry. I'm just so distracted by the whiskey. So all that to say, I'm staying the same. I think these are good value. What I drank and what you have to pay for it, great. I'm fine.
So you're thumbs up on both? I'm 2 thumbs up on both. You have a slight preference towards glass 1. I have a slight preference towards glass 2.
Today.
We really like both of them. And that's, again, today.
Today I like glass 1. Tomorrow I could like glass 2 because I feel like they're different.
What is glass number 1, number 78 in our pool?
E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof.
Really?
Batch 12.
Wow. Okay.
And it's 131.1 proof.
The proof comes through.
Yeah.
What's glass number 2?
2023 George T. Stagg.
Oh.
And that's 135 proof.
Oh.
And the Stagg is thanks to Justin Williams. And the E.H. Taylor is thanks to Bill and Delia Kavanaugh. So they have provided the samples for this matchup, which I think was a great matchup.
Great matchup.
Because I think they're delicious.
I will say the age on George T. Stagg comes through, the difference in age.
What is the age?
George T. Stagg is age stated at 15 years.
Okay.
E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof is not age stated, rumored to be in that 6 to 10 year range. Nobody really knows to be for sure.
Okay.
They definitely had some commonalities in flavors. And I want to make a note on 2023 George T. Stagg, but go ahead.
The question, can you find either of these?
No.
Okay.
You will.
So the retail price is great, but you can't find it.
Yeah. I mean,
I do want to speak to that.
You're going to pay $350 to $450 at a markup for E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof.
Okay.
And you'll pay around $750 to $850 for a markup on a George T. Stagg.
Okay. This is not my official score because that's done and dusted. But
you go on retail.
On those prices, I'm out.
Your thumbs down on both?
I'm thumbs down on both.
Yeah.
But that's just, a little side commentary.
To me, I mean, these are the type of bottles that, truthfully speaking, they're special bottles. They're hard to get. Because of that, they do lend themselves to elevating the experience, especially when you do know what you're drinking. But we didn't know what we were drinking, and we were just measuring them based on the merit of what we tasted versus the price tag. And they both did deliver today. So there's a reason, in my opinion, that these are popular products that people do tend to like a lot. As usual, I do tend to like barrel proof Buffalo Trace products a little bit more than you do.
Okay.
You do tend to like some of the lower proof Buffalo Trace products more than me, but I do tend to like the barrel proof more than you. 2023 George T. Stagg is notorious for being off profile. And when I say notorious, I mean notorious. I mean widely not liked for being what it is.
Because it's off profile from what they expected.
Now that I know what it is, that grape Kool-Aid note that's underneath the funk.
You did say grape.
And oak and all that stuff. I can see it being Stagg now, but that funk and that oak is wildly different than a lot of Buffalo Trace products. And if you're used to drinking any George T. Stagg in the last 5 or 7 years and you buy this bottle or get a pour at a bar or a restaurant or something, it does taste different than a lot of George T. Staggs in recent memory.
So know that going into it. We didn't know we were drinking Stagg, so we were just speaking to what we were drinking.
Now, I have pretty much a strong track record of sticking up for this batch and the 2019 batch of George T. Stagg, which was the low proof batch. It got flack for being low proof, 116.9. Still great whiskey.
Still decent proof, though. I mean, it's lower, but it's still high proof.
But Staggs are like 125 to 138 plus. Yeah. So it rightly got criticism. It's still great whiskey. This Stagg gets a lot of criticism for being off profile. I think it makes it a really interesting release within the portfolio of George T. Stagg releases. And I really like it a lot, personally speaking. Now, would I buy 2 E.H. Taylors for the price of 1 George T. Stagg at all the marked up prices? I don't know. I mean, to me, George T. Stagg has a special air about it. And with that, I can use that bottle to create memories with friends and company that we have here. Yeah. And it's hard to put a price on those types of memories. Fair. But am I, just jumping out of my seat and running out the door to go buy a bottle of George T. Stagg for $750+ ? No. Do I want one every year? Yeah. Have I ever owned an E.H. Taylor barrel proof? No. Do I want to own one? Yeah. So, I mean, I think what we've learned here is that what we kind of always knew, these did live up to our typical experience with these products. Yeah. These particular batches, the most recent of each, did not let us down. And this was a lot of fun. Hopefully you gleaned something from it. Not trying to build any FOMO or hype or anything. Aaron obviously was not 2 thumbs up on either one of these. So these aren't life-changing whiskey. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
What do you say? It's just whiskey. It's not a sunset.
Yeah. Come on, y'all. Let's keep it into perspective.
Yeah. If you like this, like the video, think about subscribing to the channel. And if you want to get plugged into a fantastic community of people who love talking about and sharing whiskey and helping people find things, and you owe it to yourself to check out our Patreon community. That's linked down in the video description below. It's also where we release our barrel picks and do bonus content, bonus live streams, all sorts of stuff over there. And you can check out shirts like this handy dandy cocktail shirt.
That's so fancy.
Drinkware shirt.
You look like a fancy boy.
Over at stuffandwhiskey.com. So I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Be good to each other. And until next time, cheers.
All right.
Those were good. Man. I could tell that they were good. I just don't want to pay marked up prices for it. But that's just me in general.
I get you there.
I see how people do, though. I understand why people do, because it does taste good, and if you like it, and you've got the money to spend, I get it. It's just not it's not my money that I'm going to spend on it.
If you're buying it to drink by yourself, it makes no sense at all to me. If you're buying it to have a special experience with company, we go out to dinner and have a birthday dinner and splurge on that, Yeah. Splurging on one of these, that's a one-time night. Yeah. You might get leftovers.
Splurging on a bottle to share several times with friends.
Oh, I mean, you get 25 pours out of a bottle.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I see it. You're getting so much more. Your dollar's going so much further. Now, if I'm just sitting around drinking this stuff by myself, there's no way in the world I'm paying this. Yeah. But
I just have to speak to my preferences. Right. I'm not going to do it, but I see how people do it.
And specifically for that special experience with loved ones that you can share this with.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, to me, I know a lot of people don't want to pay marked up prices and all that stuff, and I get it. I would rather have one of these than 3 or 4 just all right $100 bottles I'd rather have
that's fair. I get
one
it.
of these than 8 just all right $100 bottles.
Dude, you're preaching the choir.
So I know, but people, like people probably comment and talk about how the prices are absurd and you can never find them. I know the reason you can't find them is because people like them, and the reason that they make such special experiences is because you can't find them.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I get it. And
if they were sitting on shelves, nobody would care.
yeah, but I feel like we have to make sure we don't like. That happens with us with these pours, but we've had other really hard to find things that we didn't like. So I think
That's why we do the channel the way we do it.
somehow we need to speak to the fact that like it's really imperative for you to try to know what you want to spend your money on. Like now we know that if we see one of these, we will like it. Even if it's an off-profile Buffalo Trace product, we'll probably like it, so it would be worth spending our money on.
Yeah.
Whereas if we see something that we don't really like I don't know, an allocated product that we don't tend to love.
Dickel 18 year.
Dickel 18 year.
For $500.
Or birthday bourbon.
Oh,
we know we
goodness.
won't spend our money on a price birthday bourbon or Dickel 18. Like, we know. So I think that's what the beauty of like trying things and trying a blind is that you know.
That's why we do it the way.
You don't know what you don't know.
That's why we do it the way we do.
Yeah.
Hope they like it.
Hope you like it.
I like you.
I like you. I like your face.